A lot of people are wondering, have stocks bottomed? It's hard to really know until after the fact, but what I can tell you is that market internals are improving. Let's check this out. So if you want to know the flow of money, is it going in or going out of stocks? I like to look at the big money index. This is my favorite indicator that we have. And this electric blue line, it's telling us that money is either coming out of stocks if it's going down, or that money is going into stocks if it's going up. So here's what's really cool about this. So the way this works is, for a stock to get a buy signal, this price has to be going up, and it also has to have volume increasing. Okay, same thing for a sell signal. If the stock is going down, it has to have volume increasing, right? That's indicative of institutions, getting in and out of stocks. When you do this on thousands and thousands of stocks, you start to see patterns. And right now, we just had a huge rally in the market, right? The Fed just raised rates. People are wondering, is this rally real? And I'm going to show you that there are a lot of stocks participating in the rally. So first thing that you should take away from here is that the big money index, it was oversold literally a couple of weeks ago, right? That's usually a great time to be bargain hunting for stocks. And it has gone straight up. And in fact, it's basically at a 3-month high. And you're like, wait a minute, the big money index is going up. So what does that mean for stocks? Well, we can go in and look at the daily buys and sells for stocks. So these blue bars, that means how many stocks got bought on a given day. And the red bars, that indicates how many stocks are getting sold in a day. So if you look at my last video that I did where I was looking at the market, I was talking about how capitulation was here. And usually that is when you start to see hundreds and hundreds of stocks get sold in a day. That's what these red bars are. However, the BMI, it's a 25-day moving average. That's basically this area right here. We can see that signs are getting a little bit more constructive, right? Because there's less selling. And then over this past week, you start to see more buying. But that isn't what gets me excited. It's not the fact that stuff is getting bought, it's what is getting bought. So let's go ahead and look at sectors. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to populate some sectors that have been seeing some buying. So let's go ahead and look at this healthcare sector. Very defensive group. I'm going to put this at 6 months. I'm going to remove these moving averages just for a moment. But look here, you start to see the number of healthcare stocks that are getting bought definitely outweigh those that are getting sold. So you can see that with the blue here. So very defensive action. People are worried about a recession, right? They will flock to healthcare stocks, right? Because no matter what the economy does, we're still going to have healthcare needs that we're going to be spending money on. Now, listen, what's really cool about this is yesterday we actually saw chunky buying in financial stocks, right? So as interest rates rise, you have these big cash balances that might be sitting at some of these asset managers or these banks. Well, they might be earning extra interest, right? And that might fall straight to the bottom line. So the fact is this is the most financial stocks that we've seen get bought in a day. So 13, literally for a long time. I mean, we'd have to go all the way back, looks like, to February 8th before we had more of those types of stocks getting bought. But where else, right? So it's just really interesting. Internals are getting better. Industrials. So some industrial names are starting to see some buy signals as well. And it's important because we haven't seen this level of buying, right? 10 buys is not a ton, right? But it's the most that we've seen in a day, literally since March. And look, you look at the XLI ETF, it's actually lower than whenever the last time we saw this buying. So it just goes to show that there are more and more stocks that are participating in this rally, right? And you want to see that breadth start to expand. You want to see more types of stocks getting bought. That could indicate that managers are putting money to work. But here is what was really interesting this morning, and that is technology. Now, you guys know technology stocks have just gotten destroyed, right? I mean, I've been holding a ton of them, right? But I'm more of a long-term investor when it comes to my tech stocks. But yesterday, 14 tech stocks got bought. Now, these are software names that got bought. Okay, so it's really good to see that a lot of these names have forward PEs that are, a little bit elevated. So the fact that those names are starting to get bought just tells you Managers are starting to put some risk together, or at least it looks that way. Now, why is this interesting? Well, 14 buys, right? You got to start somewhere. It's the most that we've seen in a day, literally, over the past 6 months. Okay, why is that important? Because look, every time we've had some of this buying, these breakouts, they fail to materialize. The fact of the matter is there's definitely a different tinge in the data. And so whenever you start to see these groups start to show some buying, I think that this is overall very constructive over the near, couple weeks, few months going into Q4. All right, so let's go ahead and look at some moving averages, because I know a lot of people are doing that at home. And here I've got the S&P 500. This is a SPY ETF. We can see, listen, it has already eclipsed its 50-day moving average, and it's getting closer to its 100-day moving average. So all in all, I think that is pretty constructive. Let's go ahead and look at the NASDAQ 100, basically the same type of chart, right? But is it getting a little bit more constructive? It certainly looks to be the case. We'll look at one other major indice, and this is what's really good. This is the Russell 2000. This is the IWM. This is a bunch of small cap stocks, very, very close to overtaking its 100-day moving average. But as it relates to our data, how we were talking about tech stocks are really starting to see, some buying. Look at that XLK, right? This is the Technology Select Spider ETF. Not only is it taken out its 50-day, it is literally right there against its 100-day moving average. So listen, breadth is definitely getting a little bit better. Internals are getting better. Look at this. This is Industrials XLI ETF. Big, huge move yesterday. Not quite there on the 100-day moving average, but we are trending in the right direction. Let's go ahead and look at one other one. Even though we're seeing some buying in financial stocks, we're really not seeing that in the moving averages. Hey, which is kind of cool, right? You want your data to be looking a little bit different than what is commonly available out there. But, all in all, what are we starting to see? We're seeing that prices are starting to get bought, right? And it's starting to be just pretty much across the board. It tells me market internals are improving. Doesn't mean that lows are here, but certainly whenever you start to see stocks and markets start to, act better, buyers start to step in, it could mean that lows could be behind us, but we'll only find out after the fact. All right, so there you have it. Have markets bottomed? Not exactly sure, but I'm definitely a little bit more confident today than I was yesterday, just based on the big buying that's starting to show up in stocks, and also everything that we're seeing on the moving averages, right? You're starting to see that the prices are starting to elevate, and this is stuff that you could be looking at your own leisure. So listen, remember, none of this is personalized advice of any kind. I just want to make you a better investor and really make you aware that, it's not all doom and gloom out there. There are some green shoots that you need to be aware of. Hey, if you like this type of content, right, and you want us to keep doing it, make sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you like some of these big money insights, make sure to check out mapsignals.com. Free blog piece that comes out every single week, and you can become a better investor. I'll see you guys next time.